Lady Gaga is back with a brand new single called Abracadabra. Lady Gaga is such an interesting chapter in pop history. That woman has managed to stay relevant for so long. Like, I thought she was going to have peaked at Poker Face when that came out. However long ago that was now, I'm pretty sure I was probably still in my teenage years at that point. I thought she had a peak then, and she's just managed to maintain and ride this wave for so long now. Hats off to her if I was wearing a hat, because, like, you know, it takes a lot of gumption and creative genius to stay in the limelight for as long as that. I mean, last year she had one of the biggest songs that was released with Die With A Smile, which I actually did quite like. I actually recorded a full reaction to that video, and then I had some sort of issue with my recording equipment at the time, and I binned the whole thing off in a fit of rage. But I did watch that video, and I did actually quite like it. And obviously she was also in Joker 2, which I did see at the cinema, and I tried to go in there with a very open mind, and I did not like it at all. But she was not the issue with that film. I actually thought she's a surprisingly good actress. Whenever I've seen her cameo and do other stuff on the big screen, I'm usually quite impressed, to be honest. I just thought the music was trash, the creative direction was a bad idea. But, you know, no discredit on her. But she also released a couple of other tracks last year. I did a reaction to Disease, which I actually quite liked. You never know what you're going to get with that woman. It's such a, yeah, I don't know, collage of interesting influences, and at the very least, even if the music itself often isn't, like, right up my sleeve, like, I never really listened to Poker Face outside of being exposed to it in public, but, you know, I respect it. I don't dislike the song, to be honest. So she's got Abracadabra out now, so let's jump in and see how bizarre this is going to end up being. Wondering if it's like a stylistic follow-up to Disease, actually, just because the costume is somewhat similar.
The category is dance or die.
Fair enough. I guess I'll choose dance. Yeah. Like, see, I'm already, like, very invested in what the hell's going on in this video. There's a very interesting wardrobe and color palette and all of that. The way that they're all kind of going off doing their different thing kind of makes me think of that meme, you know, all the goths under the bridge and they're all doing this crazy dance. That makes me laugh quite a lot. But yeah, this is definitely clubbier so far than I was expecting it to be, but that does not mean it's the way it will stay. Okay. How old is she now, I wonder? She's doing something weird with her voice. Either I'm just not as familiar with her as I thought, but she's definitely singing like a more guttural way, I would say. It's like, I don't know, almost got a Germanic influence in there. That's very weird. But to be fair, I quite like the you know, the auto-tuned backing vocals coming in there and sort of adding this thickened sound. The backing so far to me sort of sounds like a fitness video, which I guess is sort of what they're going for with the music video for this as well. So yeah, but no, she's always been a very captivating person on screen as well, and a good dancer, etc. There we go. See, that's what I was expecting her voice to sound like more. She was definitely putting on a voice for that verse, which is interesting, I guess, but not what I was expecting. I think I prefer it when she's doing straight Lady Gaga, actually. Ah. What is going on? It's actually quite a catchy hook, but the accent swapping in and out is really bizarre. It must be a reference to something. It's clearly intentional at this point. She's like kind of almost flipping into nonsense words towards the end, unless I've actually just not understood a different language she's speaking. But yeah, I can't quite consolidate in my head the two different vocal singing styles there. But yeah, you know what? It's quite a catchy hook. Starbra. Okay, this is really weird. It kind of goes between a couple of sort of pop subgenres, because this bit I'm not gonna lie, I don't really like it. I don't like the tone of the synth that going underneath the bass. That I can do without, to be honest. But I kind of like the chorus. It's really weird. It goes from being like kind of poppy to clubby to. I'm very uninformed in this genre, so I apologize if those are not the right words.
Watch it burn. Don't waste time on feeling. Use your passion. No return. Hold me in.
It's just the that costume is so outrageous. Can you imagine? It's like halfway through the filming of this when she needs to go to the toilet quickly, and just while she's washing her hands, she just looks up and catches herself in the mirror and goes, "What the fuck am I doing?" I'm like a plague Dr. Gimp type character. I'd love to know what the creative thought process behind this narrative is. I'm sure there's much more to it in terms of imagery and what she thinks it represents and that kind of stuff, but I'm finding it quite difficult to figure it out just from watching. I quite like this section actually. It reminds me a bit of Madonna. Tell you what, as a woman who's traditionally quite attractive, it's funny how much effort she goes through to not appear so on screen. Like the weird costume, she acts like she's bloody possessed, like in everything you ever see her in. It's interesting. It's the ooga ooga. I can't get over it. Okay, that's quite a clever switch. From a visual perspective, I quite like this section with the two sides and they're panning around and the dancing is so schizophrenic. But in terms of musicality, this section is the bit I don't like. I don't know if this is the chorus. Is this the chorus? I guess this is the chorus. And then the bit before, which is Abracadabra, is like the pre-chorus. Either way, I like most of the sections. I actually quite like the verses too. I can't quite get over this bit. The sort of like slowed down, more rappy, very staccato vocal delivery mixed in with that like really weird bass line. Yeah, not hitting for me. Is that yet another costume? Now she's kind of doing an operatic bit, which is not what I was expecting. She's demonstrating a lot of vocal variety in this. And I will also say the choreography throughout this entire video is very, very impressive. It is very visually stimulating. There's a lot of bodies on screen and they're all very well synced up. Whoever the choreographer for this, hats off, you did a good job. I wonder if this is in the MP3 version. How do you go from that to this? It's the most fever dream scenario of just like jumping. I don't ever really have words to describe it. It just like goes from this like bizarre, almost reminds me of like the Devils or something like that, and then he just moves straight into this like quite poppy chorus. It's catchy, but it's definitely poppy. There's so much contrast going on here. Well, as I expected, I was at the very least entertained. I actually didn't hate that song, to be honest. In fact, I almost liked it. That sounded harsh than it was meant to, but I was not expecting to like this at all. So, I don't know. I was more doing it from the visual interest. I've got to know what those lyrics are. I just mostly want to know what the chorus bit is. If she's like, yeah, okay, yeah, it is just like more or less nonsense. Abracadabra, amor. Okay, so amor, I guess, is love, right? Amor, una, na. Abracadabra, morta, so death. Gaga, I guess Gaga must be a reference to her to some degree as well. Abracadabra, abra, una, na. In her tongue she said death or love tonight. Those were much more thought out and interesting lyrics than I thought they would have been. God damn it, am I going to end up with this song stuck in my goddamn head? I might do, you know. It might get to the point where I'm able to tolerate the, like, clubby, housey bits, the point where I actually like the song. God, tell you what, they never tell you that being a YouTuber for watching music videos is going to end up expanding your horizons the way it appears to have done with me. Ask me 5 years ago if I was likely to actually save a Lady Gaga song onto my Spotify. I probably would have told you no. I'm going to give that one a go. Fair enough. From a visual standpoint, that was amazing. It was everything I was expecting. Crazy costumes, cool choreography, lots of strange dancing, and I mean, to be fair, the sets were fairly minimal, but the use of light and the cinematography was all well done. I like the editing style, especially the bit where they had the 2 different versions of her with their different backing troops, and they kind of like panned between them in a kind of call and response type manner for visually. I like that a lot. The chorus was actually kind of cool, and now I've looked at those lyrics, I'm more inclined to like it even more. Yeah, I quite like Lady Gaga, to be honest. She's just one of those people I've just got time for. Even if this music isn't something that is always gonna like hit me personally, I like that she's able to exist in the industry. It feels like in an industry, especially in the pop side of things, that is very, very whitewashed and boring and sort of like corporate made. You know, a lot of pop nowadays, it feels like it was designed in a boardroom somewhere to try and extract the amount of money, most amount of money possible from 14-year-olds, you know? It's a very cynical feeling nowadays in the pop industry, and that definitely feels like it came out of the mind of a creative nutcase in the best possible way, and she's big enough now and famous enough and rich enough that people can't really tell her no. So, yeah, no, hats off to her. Again, keep doing what you're doing, Gaga. You're kind of classing it up for the rest of them a bit. Yeah. Other than that, thank you very much for watching. Like, share, subscribe, all of that crazy stuff, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.